Salah satu kumpulan orang asli di Semenanjung Malaysia. Jadi Jakun ada 4 kategori. Dalam satu etnik tu ada 4 kategori, which
My name is Alina. I am from dari mana? I'm a Jakun from Rompin Pahang. There are 4 subcategories within the subcategory of Jakun.
Jadi saya adalah Jakun Kuala. Jadi ada 4 kategori lain. Jakun Kuala tu yang duduk di sungai lah. Dan yang kedua Jakun Bukit yang tinggal di bukit. Dan yang ketiga Jakun pesisir yang tinggal di tepi-tepi pantai. Dan juga yang keempat Jakun Hulu. Kebanyakannya dia di area Johor punya side lah, Hulu side.
So she explains there are 4 types of Jakun. Jakun Kuala, which is where she's from. Di mana tu? Di sungai. Lepas tu Jakun.
Yeah. Okay. How do we consider, or how do I consider myself indigenous? Well, the word orang asli itself, says so. That we are orang asli means original people, Aboriginal people. So there is acceptance, by everyone, by the government, and it's even stated in the constitution that we are the original people, and studies genetic, so forth and so on. Yeah, shows that we are the indigenous people of Peninsular Malaysia, and we meet, the criteria of who is an indigenous people as decided in international forum. We are distinct, from the other Malaysian communities. We have pre-existed here, for a long time. We have our ways of custom, our own culture. We have our own political system, traditional political system, and we have a very strong connection with our land, just like
he just showed the types of trees that I don't know how to express in English. So he just showed the tree, and then he just showed our land that we own. That's why I asked my grandfather, how would other people know that this is ours? But he just said that we all know each other's land. We don't usually, cross other people's land. And then he also did mark the tree as well. That's my personal experience about my grandfather showing my own land. So they don't even consult us. They didn't even consult us. They don't even let us know. We only know when we had to move out from the village. That's what happened to our village along with the other 60 villages. So, and then the housing area that they prepare for us is also very low. They use very low quality materials. Like for example, plywood they use for the door, because rainy season in our village, not just village, rainy season in Kitchen Stick generally is very, very heavy. The rain can be very heavy, and it is the longest season in Myanmar. From May, June, July, August, 4 months raining non-stop. Then all the window, all the wall, all goes off. We just move in, and then around 2 or 3 months, all gone already. Rosak in Malaysia, it's rosak, or it's not livable as well. So that's how they treated us. And then I think I should also share a bit about this hydropower project then. So they started they launched this project in around 2005, which we didn't know. And then after that, I think 3 companies involved in this. One is China. I forgot the name of the SPIC, State Power Investment Corporation, China's state corporation, and then Myanmar Ministry of Electric Power, and then the Crowley, big huge company called Asia War. these are the three companies responsible for all of these conflicts and our displacements. So they are the one who move us out from our village, and yeah. And then the Chinese company for mining. So this is the result of gold mining. And when we were not around, they uprooted the whole villages. This is the area view from, you can see the difference before and after. That's the current situation right now. So yeah, I think. We also do some kind of resistance from grassroots level to international level. So like all the villages, from 60 villages, annually come together, and then we do the campaigning, petitioning, and then we do demonstration regularly, and then we gather for prayers annually. And then national level, what we do is, you saw the head, save the Irrawaddy. When the two rivers met, and then it becomes Irrawaddy River, but in English they call Irrawaddy, but we call it Irrawaddy. So it becomes Irrawaddy. Irrawaddy is the longest river in Myanmar, and then it's the bloodline for all Myanmar people, like especially the downstream farmer. Those who depend on Irrawaddy rivers, the population is really, really huge. So that's why the whole Myanmar involved in that, especially like environmentalists, local CSO, NGO, INGO, and then the local grassroots people, and then the churches. Churches are also very important. They are the ones who lead all these campaigns, all these things. And so you can see the monk, they march 1,200 kilometers to demonstrate this cancellation of this dam project. So the whole Myanmar involved, and then we also you will see the Catholic nun. This we call Rose Campaign for cancellation of the dam, and then the other one is a very famous author in Myanmar. They are also discuss about the impact, especially on the environmental risk aspect. They also discuss, and then we do awareness on social media, not just in the local community but also to international level. I think you can also find this video clip in Vimeo, but you have to pay. It's not free. It's all about our struggles. They documented all about our struggles in one video, which called like Above and Below the Ground. The title is Above and Below the Ground, and in this video, the people from grassroots level to international level, they are all involved to fight against this dam project. So I might miss a lot of information, but
di mana saya tinggal di Pahang. Dulu yang memimpin kampung dulu moyang saya. Sekarang umur moyang saya dah 102 tahun ni. Jadi memang sah-sah terbukti yang kampung saya kampung asal dan memang dah wujud sebelum merdeka lagi. Jadi semasa dia memimpin dalam tahun 80-an, masa tu wujudnya kerajaan nak kumpulkan komuniti orang asli dalam satu tempat lah, kumpulkan beberapa kampung. Dan masa tu kerajaan hanya memberi rumah yang tersusun dan ada area untuk kebun sikit belakang rumah.
The government plan to resettle the communities into what is called an RPS or recruitment scheme, where individual families were given a small house with a little bit of land, not very large plot, not like what they would have in the customary areas.
Dan kampung saya, moyang saya sendiri decide untuk tak nak tinggalkan tempat asal dia, sebab situ di mana dia dilahirkan, itu wilayah dia, kami panggil wilayah tanah adat dia. Jadi bila dia bertegas tak pindah, hanya dia seorang lah dan anak-anak buah dia yang tetap di situ, tetapi komuniti lain, beberapa kampung yang berdekatan dipindahkan ke satu RPS. Dan sebenarnya kawasan-kawasan hutan di sekeliling kan wilayah kan besar, jadi adalah pembalakan wujud, katanya dengan penipuan lah. Bagi saya zaman dulu adalah penipuan, sebab mereka di komuniti orang asli dijanjikan dengan pembangunan, contohnya macam dia nak buat ladang kebun untuk komuniti, untuk jana ekonomi, dan sebaliknya kalau nak buat ladang kena balak lah, bila balak ladang pun tak ada.
She explained that her great-grandfather,
Hello, okay. Dan itu zaman 80-an lebih kurang lah, zaman moyang saya, masa saya tak wujud. Tapi lepas zaman saya ada, tahun 2020, masa tu kami kumpulan wanita dan belia-belia buat bantahan. Masa tu ada kerajaan nak wujud, nak cadangkan satu projek lagi, projek pembangunan di mana mereka nak buat projek tanaman industri padi di kawasan kami. Kan macam yang saya cakap, komuniti saya duduk dekat dengan sungai, so sangat impossible untuk mereka wujudkan tanaman padi dah. Dan kami membantah. Masa tu kami kumpulan belia wanita, kami decide untuk collect suara-suara dari akar umbi dan post lah, publish video online dan tunjuk kami ni membantah projek ni. Sebenarnya macam zaman saya 2020, mereka still guna taktik yang sama, di mana dengan alasan untuk pembangunan, tapi sebaliknya mereka nak balak lah tempat tu, senang cerita, sebab pokok-pokok dah sana dah besar, dah matang untuk mereka balak.
the first time it happened in the... Okay, thank you. Okay, shall we go...
The only sort of event, which caused some displacement was during the emergency, as I mentioned earlier on. When the government, was so afraid, that the Orang Asli would support the communists. So many Orang Asli people were relocated, my village included, and we were moved, to a place some 10 kilometers away, in another Semai territory, together with some Malay kampung, and they were there for I think 3-4 years, but after a while they went back to the village, so in that sense there was no loss. It's just that when they were relocated, when they were asked to move to this new place, the activities that they could carry out were a bit limited, because see, the Orang Asli, the Semai, for instance, as I mentioned earlier on, they have a well-defined territory of their own. They cannot encroach into another communities or another local communities territory. If they do that, there will be a lot of tension. So when they were relocated, there was a lot of they were really curtailed, from doing the activities that they previously do. Perhaps they were maybe to some extent depending on handout from the government. Other than that, you can't open up your rice field in somebody's land. So there was a lot of challenges, a lot of curtailment. Okay. Then after a while, after 3-4 years, we went back, so we don't lose anything. But recently, there was an attempt, by the state government to build a mini hydro dam in our territory, but we protested. We wrote in a letter, so we hope they will abandon that idea. Because if they build that dam, it will affect, because there's a big river flowing across my ancestral domain, and this water from the river is used, for drinking water, in towns like Tapa, Teluritan, and they want to build a dam. Can you imagine? That will pollute the river, apart from reducing the volume of the water. So we protested, So we hope, it is supported, but generally, orang asli face displacement, yeah, from mining activities, from dams, from logging, from opening up of land, for durian. Have you all heard of Musangki? Yeah, in Kelantan, thousands of acres, being cleared because to enable companies mainly from China, to plant Musangking, and in these areas, many orang asli kampung are there. So because of that, many of the land, the forest is cleared. Yeah. Apart from losing land, traditional land, orang asli also face another problem. Elephants, start coming to the villages. Tigers start coming to the villages. Those days, no elephant, coming to orang asli kampung, no tigers. And now, you get reports, orang asli being trampled, by elephants, and attacked by tigers, yeah. So this kind of thing, and then there's an ongoing big thing, dam is being constructed in Kelantan, the Negeri Dam, This will affect a lot of orang asli villages, and sadly, in this area in which the dam is going to be built, there is this historical site, Goacha, which is one of the most important archaeological site in Peninsular Malaysia, where they found a skeleton, dating thousands of years ago, and this will be flooded, and of course, the orang asli have engaged lawyers to fight that. Even though we just hope that they will win, and landscape, as Elena was mentioning, sometime in the 80s, in the 70s, they regroup orang asli, many villages, they regroup them in one particular village, one particular locality, It can include, 10, 20, or even the town scheme, I think it's 25 villages, were regrouped in one locality. And that creates tension, as I mentioned earlier on, orang asli each community has their own distinct territory, which in Samai we call Negeri, you can't allow others to come. Because if you do that, then, apart from, what you call contest, or apart from control of, getting limited resources, it will create a lot of tension also, among the community itself, because they are so well defined, in terms of territory, yeah. And then it happened in Greek, in North Perak, they were regrouped, in one regroupment scheme, they call it RTS, And after a while, those who were regrouped from another village, didn't like it, They still wanted to go back. They went back, and they came out with they filed a suit, yeah, the one, the Chune, yeah, and thanks God they won it, so they can go back to the traditional area, although the acreage, the amount of is undetermined, yeah. So this is what is happening now. In fact, in some villages, there is one village, I remember in Perak, a mining company took over the orang asli kampung. They were relocated into another place, with a promise that once the mining is over, they can return to the previous place. Mining was over, and then in the process of them trying to return, other Malaysians started coming in, and later they learned that it has been gazetted, the land has been allocated for another community, not orang asli, some 400 acres, so gone, So this kind of thing is happening actually, It's an everyday thing, and it's beginning to become, actually not beginning, but has begun to become really very commonplace, yeah. This is a very crucial issue, faced by the orang asli landlords, as Kamal, and the rest, yeah. So we yeah, so this is happening, it's not a one-thing thing, it has been going on, even though the court, have decided in favor of the orang asli, but somehow the state, doesn't seem to, take heed of that, unfortunately,
Can have one more response, time is almost up. Okay, Myanmar Pitching Group, resist or try to reclaim back the land. Tell us a bit about the trauma of the displacement and the struggle for reclaiming back the land.
Hello. Okay, before I wrap it up, I also want to talk about my previous question in a short while, because the earlier all of them talk about things everyone can find in the Google or YouTube. All the sources are there. But what I'm going to say is like you cannot find my story in the Google because in our place, my place, like I mentioned earlier, is very hard to get. Even electricity is hardly get there, and also internet line, no. So like if anyone want to use internet line, you have to go to the city maybe 1 or 2 days, and just use for 1 hour. They will charge how much? Yeah. So not everyone is using as well, because not many people know how to use. So there's no what we call it journalists. Some journalists are there, but they only focus on major things, but when we talk about major things, what about us? Are we not a major thing? Because like my place, our farm place, actually we just happily staying there. But when the business people, rich people and military people, they're connected, government people, they're connected, and they find out that our place can get a goal. So we don't even know, we have been staying there for decades, but we know that our place is precious, maybe it has a goal, and like earlier my friend Madeline mentioned, a lot of resources are there, but we don't want to destroy our land or place. That's why we just keep it up, and we just stay as a simple life with the farming, just as traditional. But they after they find out that our place has goal, so they don't even give a notice. They don't even negotiate with our villages. I'm not saying the whole village, but a part, and included my family places as well. So they will just put a sign. This is government owned. They just put a sign. They don't even mention anything to us. They just put the red sign, government owned. We cannot question anything. Like when we protest about it, they were arrested without any explanation. So as religious people, we don't really have a big knowledge about when we get arrested. There's no lawyer as well in our place. So when we arrested, we can't say anything. We can't bring up anything. We just lock up in the the lock there. So no one will know it. So a lot of our villagers are scared of it. So we don't even dare to protest. So that kind of thing is like also happening in the place. Like mentioned earlier, my friends Madeline mentioned that even there are places there has a replacement. Government will give either good or bad, at least they get a replacement, but we don't have. They don't even mention, okay, you cannot stay at the place, you cannot use this area, this is government land, that's it. They don't give any compensation, they don't replace anything. So in our place, we don't have a, what we call it? Fence. So we were just random, okay, this is the place yours, this is mine. So all the villagers know each other when we find the place, that is who belong to who. But unfortunately, because of our people has lack of knowledge about legal issues, we don't register a proper document, land documents. We don't have that kind of ownership of things. So when they come, they only answer one thing: you don't have proper document, so this does not belong to you. That is why we taking back as a government's own. That's it. So it's a sad part, and it won't be found in the news, as I mentioned, because there is no internet. And also, if some of our friends called Emily, she is also doing about. She is a journalist as well. She is doing resources of all this, but not included my article as well, because they only do for. There's a lot different project, big project, so they only fight for it. It's a small matter like us. If they find out, military people find out they are digging about all these news, they will get arrested, and maybe they can burn to visit that place. Yeah, that is also happening. Yeah, so even for myself, we cannot go back. Even if we want to go back, there's no places because they dig all the hole because they are doing the gold mine and all this. Yeah, so like earlier I mentioned, actually where we belong here, you know, in our generations, by like let's say, okay, when you somebody asks.
Who were here are the Temuans, the Temuan orang asli. According to, I wanted to write an article actually about them, a few years ago. So I went to a village near Tamantun, Bukit Lanjan. At that time, it was a village, with their own ancestral land. So they told me they were actually at the Selangor Club, when the other people started coming in, they were already there. So when the people started coming in, because of that pressure, they moved first to Jalan Melaka, which is just here, then to Bukit Nanas. Apparently, Bukit Nanas, just here. Apparently, they said those days they were there, what do you call, jackfruit tree and some durian trees there, Then pressure again, they moved to Sungai Penchala. Sungai Penchala is near Tamantun, and eventually to Bukit Lanjan. Then MK Land, took over, and now they are confined to a small area, small spot called Taman Desa Temuan, Yeah, I mean, according to them, they were here first, They were the one who founded Kuala Lumpur, if you may say that, That is according to their oral history, yeah. So I mean, just like many places, orang asli were there already. In fact, you can know, you can see this from names of rivers, name of mountains, name of places is actually orang asli name, yeah. So
last question, Dr. Colin.
To follow up on Tony's reply to his question about Kuala Lumpur. That's what he said is true. Orang asli from Bukit Lanjan were actually here in the Selangor Padang. But this particular area, the name Kuala Lumpur, most people know that it's the confluence of two rivers, two muddy rivers. That's not true. Kuala Lumpur as all names of villages in Malaysia are known. It's always a small river going to the main river. So into the main river, Penang River, there is a river called Sungai Lumpur, which is at the bottom of the KL Tower there. And that's where was Orang Asli village. You see? If you look at the old maps back in 1890s, back before that, you will still see it. If you go to the Chinese museum, I think it's called the Chinese Temple New Museum, you find a map of the Lumpur River with the Orang Asli village there. And Orang Asli were also residing in Bukit Bintang, Sungai Besi, all in the past. But as you know in history, it's always the victors who write the history, right?
I think it's one question.
I am not a very political person, but like from our ethnic point of view, conflict is not just started recently for us. It has been like 7, 8, almost 8 decades already for us, for minority, not just Kachin, but also other minorities in Myanmar. So we have been suffered, we have been oppressed, we have been suffered all kinds of, like, for example, displacement, land grabbing, and like even torture, like previous time, because we didn't have social media, and also you cannot find it on the news, you cannot find it on the internet. But I think we started how to call it? We started revolutions around 1960 because of our belief, because of our faith. Like I can say that for my community, for Kachin people, we started the revolution because of the religion, because of the faith. So since then, the Kachin we call freedom fighter, but Myanmar military call we are rebels. So we are rebels, but we have the second biggest army in Myanmar. Like the biggest one is in Shan State. So we have been like politically we are fighting against them since 1960. Started from 1960 something like. But for indigenous people, we can't do much because my friend Jed also mentioned we didn't have like proper documents for our lands, and also currently most of our people are internally displaced along the border, China border to Shan State, Thailand border. So not just ethnic minorities started from 2011 or 2021 because of the coup. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the third coup that happened in Myanmar. So since then, as a minority point of view, right? Before that coup, most of the majority Burmese people don't understand our suffering. That's how I see it. This is just my opinion. They don't understand about our suffering. They don't have empathy for us. They always sided with the Burmese military. They always sided with Aung San Suu Kyi. And they don't hear us, or they didn't hear us. They didn't want to listen to us. But start from 2021 coup, Burmese military targeted the majority Burmese, like including students, including Buddhist community and all. Since then, most of at first they, demonstrated peacefully and all, but when the demonstration got intense, then they started killing young people. So young people, they went into the ethnic minority arms control area, and then they started receiving the training, and then they started fighting against the Burmese military from each and different areas. Like for example, Kachin control area, Shan control area, like Mon, Kayang. So that's how we are resisting right now. According to my observation, I think on the ground we are winning. So many posts in like around all across Myanmar, but we only afraid of the airstrike. They don't care. They just bomb us from the jet fighter. They just bomb us, like even churches, hospital, school. You will see many news, dying children, dying many people. So you will constantly seeing this kind of thing now. So from the minority point of view, this is not new for us. But in a way, this is just my thought. In a way, I think 2021 coup, it's happened. I think it's beneficial for us because of this coup. Burmese majority people can empathize our suffering, and then they understand. We have been shouting for help for like 7-8 decades, but because of this coup, they know who is good, who is bad. So I think as a minority, I think this coup is good because we know where we are, we know where we stand. So that's how I see this conflict personally. This is just my thought.
Thank you, Meg.